The problem of evil is one of the oldest and most unsettling questions in human history. If God is perfectly good, all-powerful, and all-knowing, why does such overwhelming suffering continue to exist in the world? When you put these three claims together, a logical contradiction arises. Does God want to prevent evil but lack the power? Then he is not all-powerful. Does he have the power but not want to prevent it? Then he is not perfectly good. Or does he both have the power and the will to stop evil, and yet it still exists? Where does all this suffering come from? This paradox is one of the toughest challenges for both my faith and philosophy. The attempt to justify God, what philosophers call theodicy, tries to answer these questions. But every answer seems to bring a new question along with it. The suffering of innocent children, natural disasters, and cruelty turn this from a theoretical problem into a deeply existential struggle. To understand the anatomy of evil, we first need to distinguish its different forms. Philosophers generally divide evil into two main types. The first is moral evil, which includes acts carried out through human free will, wars, murders, thefts, and all kinds of injustice. Humans are beings capable of choice, and the consequences of those choices can be devastating. The second type is natural evil: earthquakes, tsunamis, diseases, and genetic disorders. Here, human will plays no role. These sufferings, arising from nature itself, are often cited when questioning God's justice. Do mass deaths from viruses or cities destroyed by nature prove the system is flawed or part of a design we cannot comprehend? The defense of free will is the most common way to explain moral evil. According to this view, God did not create humans as robots, but as free beings capable of choice. Freedom inherently includes the potential to choose both good and evil. If God prevented evil, human free will would disappear too. A being that can only do good by default has no moral value. Virtue gains meaning only when one chooses good. So the wars and injustices in the world are not God's fault. They are the result of humans misusing their freedom. Yet this explanation falls short when it comes to natural evil. A baby getting cancer or a volcanic eruption has nothing to do with free will. Responsibility here points directly to the architect of the system. Another approach suggests that evil is not an independent entity. Philosophers like Augustine argue that evil is the absence of good. Just as darkness is the absence of light and cold the absence of heat, evil is what arises where good is lacking. In this view, God did not create evil, he created beings with varying levels of perfection. The further a being is from perfection, the more flawed it is, and these flaws manifest as suffering and evil. But this definition offers little comfort to someone who is suffering. Defining pain as merely a lack of good doesn't change its reality. Some see the world as a vast training ground designed for the soul's growth. Pain and evil are necessary for humans to develop character. Courage arises in the face of danger. Patience is forged through hardship. Without illness, hunger, or injustice, virtues like compassion and cooperation could never emerge. In this view, God left humans on a path full of obstacles, challenging their mental and spiritual capacities. Yet this soul-making argument struggles to explain the extreme, seemingly senseless suffering of innocence. Our limited perspective also plays a role. Human life is but a tiny fragment in the billions of years of history. Judging an entire painting by a single brushstroke would be absurd. We see only the here and now, whereas God is the architect who sees all times and all possibilities simultaneously. Perhaps what we see as evil today is the seed of a far greater good to come. In fact, some argue that the very existence of evil paradoxically points to God's existence. To call something evil, we must know what the ideal good should be. Moral outrage is an inner voice telling us the world is not as it should be, pushing us toward justice beyond the physical realm. Modern discussions often involve the best of all possible worlds thesis. God created the best world possible, even if it is not perfect. A world with free will inevitably includes the possibility of evil. Without it, the world would be less than ideal. Some view evil as a necessary contrast, just as shadows in a painting reveal the light. Suffering helps us appreciate joy. Continuous happiness would dull the senses. Hunger gives meaning to satiety. Illness gives meaning to health. Religions often solve the problem through the metaphor of a test. This world is temporary. Ultimate justice will come later. However, if evil is a test, is it wrong to try to remove it? Humans bear responsibility to confront and resist it. From a scientific perspective, natural evil is the relentless struggle for survival. Nature does not pursue a moral agenda. The most troubling aspect of theodicy is the ordinariness of evil. It often comes from thoughtlessness or blind obedience. The ultimate point of the theodicy paradox is the meaning of silence. God's non-intervention may indicate space for humans to write their own story. The resolution of the paradox is often not in logic but in action. The meaning lies in what we do in response. Goodness shines brightest against the dark backdrop of evil. It makes moral goodness a heroic choice. Whether we kneel before this wall or try to overcome it is an existential choice. Perhaps God awakens the divine spark within humans to confront evil. Living with this paradox means accepting reality in all its weight while still holding on to hope.